Assault of Ukraine is underway.
Russian forces are said to be making a renewed push towards Ukraine's capital, Kyiv.
Live in Dnipro, Ukraine.
And targets today the eastern city of Kharkiv.
One of the troubling things that some experts have noticed is the tone that people are taking in order to contextualize some of the coverage is casting offensive comparisons about what Ukrainians are experiencing versus what people who've been involved in other wars and other crises have experienced.
Shelters, but this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that or hope that it's going to happen.
These are prosperous middle-class people. These are not people trying to get away from areas in North Africa. They look like any European family that you would live next door to.
Every time we turn on the news, Ukraine dominates headlines. Billions of dollars in aid, constant coverage, and global support. What about Yemen? The war that has killed hundreds of thousands and pushed millions of people into poverty and extreme famine. Yet, it barely makes the headlines. But I have one question to ask. Why has the world rallied behind one war and ignores completely the other side? Why? In this video, we will break down the double standard in global politics, the media attention, as well as international aid, and what that means for those people who are left suffering in silence.
It's extremely important, Becky. It comes just as EU defense ministers are supposed to be meeting in Copenhagen today and tomorrow to discuss security guarantees. There's also further meetings at the White House as well to discuss those security guarantees. This would be a backstop measure, essentially, that if Russia and Ukraine are to reach a peace deal, these security guarantees would provide Ukraine with that insurance if it were attacked again. But Russia has already said it does not accept security guarantees it's not involved in, and it will not accept any foreign forces on the ground. Now, as we see these continued attacks take place on the ground and this diplomatic effort stall, what we're watching here is a tried and true Russian response. Diplomatic efforts stalling while the offensive on the ground.
Dramatic happens that jolts everyone back awake. For Ukraine, that jolt came on Sunday in the form of a major attack. It was Russia's biggest air attack since the war began in 2022. 810 drones and 13 missiles, all fired overnight. The target, all of Ukraine. From the north to the south and even the east, cities were pummeled. Several buildings were on fire, including the main government building in Kyiv.
Yemen war, fueled by regional powers, famine, and disease, has left millions and millions of people displaced and starving. And yet, the global response has been weaker.
More than 24 countries have pledged to provide security guarantees to Ukraine by land, sea and air once the war ends.
Président de l'Ukraine.
Volodymyr Zelensky joined a meeting of the coalition of more than 30 nations, including Australia, which are supporting Kyiv after Russia's invasion. It was hosted in Paris by the French President Emmanuel Macron. Several leaders were there in person, others joined remotely.
We have today 26 countries that have formally committed, with several others to clarify their position, but 26 countries committed to deploy as a reassurance force or to be present on the ground, at sea, in the air, in order to bring this reassurance to the Ukrainian territory and to Ukraine the day after a ceasefire or peace.
Mr. Macron says a call was made to US President Donald Trump after the summit. The French leader says American support for the coalition's security guarantees will be finalised in the coming days. It's not known at this stage if Australia is among the 26 nations offering to deploy personnel, but foreign forces are most likely to be used to help train and supply Kyiv's troops.
Ukraine has received more than $100 billion in military equipment and humanitarian aid from the Western powers. Don't get me wrong, they truly deserve each and everyone's support. But my point that I'm trying to make is this: when a war affects Western interest, the world mobilizes. But when it doesn't, like in Yemen, it's labeled region issues and it is barely mentioned and it gets ignored.
The largest humanitarian crisis isn't in Syria, it's in Yemen. Thousands have been killed and millions have been displaced so far. The conflict has been going on for years, but it became especially violent in March 2015. That's when the Saudi-led coalition got involved. Now, the poorest country in the Arab region has become the violent playground for regional and international powers. So, how did it all start? After the Arab Spring toppled dictators across the Middle East, Yemenis wanted their homes. Several other countries are supporting this alliance with weapons, intelligence, or logistics. Qatar was expelled from that coalition June 2017. The Saudi-led coalition wants to restore Hadi's government, but it's been unable to take back the north of the country, including its capital Sana'a. Meanwhile, fighters from Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula and affiliates of ISIL have taken advantage of the chaos. They seized parts of the south and stepped up their attacks in government-controlled Aden. As in every war, civilians are bearing the brunt of this one. The destruction of infrastructure and restrictions on food and fuel imports means 17 million Yemenis will face famine unless they receive humanitarian help soon. But that's not all. One fear is that international aid isn't getting to those who need it the most, making a cholera outbreak all the more difficult to control.
This is why I'm trying to expose the globe double standard. And to be clear, this double standard is not only unfair, but also deadly. By choosing which war matters, the globe community decide who gets to live and who gets to die. And that's why I said it is not only unfair, but it is deadly. Ukraine deserves support, but so does Yemen. Suffering is suffering. No matter where it happens, no matter who the victim are, suffering is suffering. And if you and I, or if the world believe in human rights and justice, then every conflict in the world deserves attention. Not just the ones that are politically convenient to us, but every single conflict deserves the attention. The question I leave with you today is this: are we ready to value all lives equally? Are you? If you believe every life matters, please like this video, share this video, and subscribe. And let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, peace.